Oh, there we go. I didn't have to. Oh, no. I guess there we go. Perfect. All right. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened there, but had to fiddle with the camera a little bit. Now, let's get right to this video. So, as you know, Donald Trump wanted to go ahead and get rid of the payroll tax, which was kind of like a scary idea. We didn't know what it was about. We didn't know how he was going to do it because there's like $2 trillion that he's got to come up with per year to go ahead and make all those social security systems work, all those social insurance programs. So everybody kind of sat back and they were like, wait a minute. How is he going to do this? And when he came out with that statement, people went after him left and right. I had a recent conversation with a guy who I was talking to it about in another video. And essentially the thing that I realized, and the guy said to me, is like, man, I really hate my payroll tax. I really hate paying my retirement tax, which is like the FICA tax. And I was like, well, Trump really wanted to get rid of that, but that would have been a very, very, I don't think that would have been a good idea. He's like, why? Why do we pay all this money? Why do we pay all this stuff? And so basically I was just like, well, the reason why is that when you get old, you got to have something that's going to back you in case you didn't put away money when you were younger, earning, etc. And I mean, who's putting away money right now? The inflation is horrible. Like, give us whatever stimulus money you want to. It's still not going to make up for how bad things are. So anyway, I was thinking about taxes because this guy who's helping me fix this tool was really anti-retirement tax, because the way it works is you pay basically 6.2% of a tax, and then the company pays 6.2% of the tax. Unless you're self-employed, then you pay the full 12.4% of the tax to your FICA, to your retirement, disability, etc. Now, FICA is the payroll for Social Security, okay, Medicare, things like that. He was pissed because everything is stupidly expensive. And I don't disagree with him. I get it, okay? He's right that no matter what stimulus you get, the prices likely aren't coming down to pre-2019 amounts, and that the stimulus will never be enough to cover the inflation increases. But what I thought was interesting was that he specifically didn't like his Social Security payroll tax. He specifically was mad about that one, not the other ones, not the general, but that one. I countered with, well, with your other taxes, how do you measure their benefit to you? Like, how do you figure that out? And that's when I started to realize with him that one of the few taxes we pay that specifically is accountable to our well-being, right? Our well-being, not Ukraine's, green energy, or new immigrants, but specifically how much we can count on is the Social Security tax. So I countered with, well, how do you calculate your taxes worth in military protection, right? When you pay your general federal taxes. How do you calculate your taxes worth in federal road upkeep? Okay, so how do you calculate your federal embassy upkeep into the taxes you pay, right? How do you figure your taxes really equate to real money for you in a real way for those things? Are any of those groups accountable to you in any way that you know what's going on with your money and how it benefits you? And that's the crazy part about this. We both agree that the system is broken because it lacks accountability, but that the Social Security tax should always remain as its own thing and not be just a general tax boost, because the money will get lost in the mix and we won't be covered, which is bad. We need retirement. We need disability. So I just wanted to share with you another way to look at your Social Security payroll tax, aka the FICA tax. We both started the conversation that more taxes suck, but that taxes where we can account for the money having a direct benefit to us, that's a direction we should be moving towards in 2023 and 2024. So my question is, and I haven't figured this out yet, for the major categories that your tax funds go to, how can we make them accountable beyond just a general audit of, how they're spending our money and a review of that? Because that's not really accountable to us. Even if they do it, how do we, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like our Social Security taxes, like we paid in this much, we get that much back. I don't think an audit and oversight committee are the answer. Frankly, I think the structure of our Social Security tax is more of what we should be shooting for. So how do we get closer to that? Now, Trump in 2020, well, it was actually, during his presidency, was promoting the idea of essentially getting rid of the payroll tax. He said, God, it's too much of a payroll tax. It's terrible, blah, blah, blah. Nobody knew how he was going to fund it. He didn't come out with any real details. Maybe there exists a paper somewhere in a box somewhere. Maybe the FBI or the CIA have it. Who knows? But there was no real plan behind it that we could grasp or get a hold of. And the problem I have with this is that one of the best taxes that we pay, one of the taxes that's accountable to us, I mean, technically they're all accountable to us, but one of the ones where we can actually count where the money goes, what happens to the money, because it goes into a trust fund. Even though we don't directly get paid from the money we put into the trust fund, we know where it goes. We know how much we're going to get out of it. One of the things that always amazes me with this system is that the program where we know where our money is going is now becoming insolvent because essentially we have a worker ratio to taker ratio. But yet the SSI people, no matter what, are always getting funded because it's from the general tax. Other countries always getting funded from the general tax. But they're not really accountable to us on those because we don't know and we have no expectation of ever knowing how much of that money is actually going to be coming back to us. So I thought this was interesting. Obviously, getting rid of the payroll tax is a terrible idea. If you wanted to go ahead and massively fund it and then, find a way to give a stimulus to it and then maybe reduce it, you could try that. But the bottom line is, out of all the taxes we have, the only one that really is that big and that specific is the Social Security tax. So getting rid of that and just saying, well, we're going to take it from the general fund, I don't think that's a good idea. There's no oversight committee that literally can be that aggressive in making sure our rights, our money, our retirement, our disability are actually going to be there when we need it. There was a time when I was a kid, and this is my final thought on this, and I'm sorry about the camera not being set up right when we started the video, but there was a time when I was a kid where federally backed meant something. The banks put it right up front. They were advertising the hell out of that. We are federally backed. We are federally insured. But now, retirement becoming more and more insolvent. Are we? Are we federally insured? Are we federally backed? Are we really up, held? And are we paying in money that we're going to see back? I don't know. I think we got a problem. Now, I know this. Biden is using students to drum up votes for the midterms. But for the presidential election, to drum up votes, the main category, the big category, the important category are the Social Security recipients. That's your retired, your disabled, your widows, your survivors, your disabled little children. That right there is going to be one heck of a showdown because we're going to be seeing towards the end of 2023 some real big fish legislation when it comes to Social Security benefits. That's interesting stuff. Unless he totally botches it, which is possible, like he did with this whole, Extreme Inflation Act, which is basically taxing people more to afford even more taxes and somehow pay off a debt, which is just not how it works. He could botch it and then say, we need to increase Social Security taxes, not just on the rich, but on everybody from 6.2 to 6.5 and really botch it. Let's tax those middle income people more. They're not paying enough because they're broke. If they're broke, we need to take more of their money. That's the Inflation Act. That's where that ended up. All right, guys. I'll catch you a little bit later. We'll have a wonderful, wonderful night. It is now Sunday. I still have to work on some other details. I will catch you a little bit later, and you have a wonderful night. Thanks so much for showing up. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.